The next topic that we have to study is about the role of a small business in rural India. So in the previous class we studied about the role of business in India as a whole, and now we are going to study the role of a small business in the rural India. Okay. The traditionally rural household in developing countries have been viewed as exclusively engaged in agriculture. There is an increasing evidence that a rural household can have highly varied and multiple sources of income, and that rural households can and do participate in a wide range of non-agricultural activities such as wage employment and self-employment in commerce, manufacturing and services. Along with the traditional rural activities of farming and agricultural labor, this can be largely attributed to the policy initiatives taken by Government of India to encourage and promote the setting up of agro-based rural industries. So see, like when you think about a rural area, the first idea that comes in our mind is about agriculture. So people in the rural area, people in the villages, they are only engaged in agricultural activities. They do business only based on agriculture. They don't do any business or they don't do any industries. So that is the attitude, or that is the idea that comes into our mind. But that is not true. The village, people in the village or people in the rural area are also interested in doing business activities like wage employment. Wage employment means that you are going and doing some work for others. Employment, like the teachers, like we are working here. Wage employment is the so we are getting job, doing job and getting salary. That is wage employment. And self-employment means that doing some work by ourselves, like taking tuition, or like a chartered accountants are there. All these are like can be called as self-employment, or doing some work by himself and earning money out of it. Okay. The emphasis on village and small-scale industries have always been an integral part of India's industrial strategy. More so, after the second 5-year plan, cottage and rural industries play an important role in providing employment opportunities in rural areas, especially for the traditional artisans and weaker sections of society. Development of rural and village industries can also prevent the migration of rural population to urban areas in search of employment. So like they see, like if there are small scale industries are there, and because of that so much amount of job opportunities are provided in the village areas, rural areas. Okay. And it will also see, like when we are getting a job, imagine that if you are getting a job in Haria itself, then you need not to go for search for job in any other place. But what happens is that people are not getting, see, like if after completing 12th, when you are thinking of studying after 12th, what you have to study, then you will search for a place. And if you want to go to college from here, there are no much good colleges are not there, you have no options there. Then you have to go in Lucknow, you have to go in Kanpur or different city areas, in urban areas you have to go. And even after completing your studies, when you think of a job, then also it is, if you are working in Haria, you will get some 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees or maximum 20,000 rupees salary. But if you are working in Delhi or Mumbai or in another places, city areas, you get more salary and more job opportunities are there where the urban areas are. So people, what they do is that they leave the house and they leave the place, they will shift from rural areas to the urban areas. So there will be like changes for the population. That means the people migration will be there. Like if one imagine that you are going and settling in Mumbai, then what happens after that? Your marriage will be there. After that, your family members, you will get settled there. You will take one room there and you will get settled there. And you will take your family members also there. So, and such a way, most of the families, they shift from the rural areas to the urban areas. Okay, so that is called the migration to the urban area. So this is quite natural, and this will take place. But when there is like if you are getting a job opportunity in Haria itself, then you need not to go to Mumbai or need not to go to Delhi and all and do the job. So when there is a small industries, there people are there, then they are getting job and good salary. If they are getting, they will be staying in the house itself and they will be able to do the job. Isn't it? So this will help reduce in the migration of rural population to urban areas. Village and small industries are significant as producers of consumer goods and absorbers of surplus labor, thereby addressing the problems of poverty and unemployment. These industries contribute amply to other socio-economic aspects such as reduction in income inequalities, dispersed development of industries, and linkage with other sections of the economy. So there are some kind of other problems also, other social problems also. So because of that, because of these small industries or rural areas are there, and they will be helpful in the removing these problems, like reduction in the income inequalities. So income inequality is one of the problems that we are facing in India. See, like what is the income of Anil Ambani or Tata or these type of people, or their income is very huge, very high. And people in a small area, there are people, those who are not getting even 100 rupees per day also, their income is not there. There are some people, those who are getting like one meal also in a day, they are not getting. So there are people, those who are spending lakhs of rupees per day, and there are people, those who are able not getting even 10 rupees or 15 rupees in a day for their food item at least one time also. There are lakhs of people in India who are not having even a single meal in a day. One time also they are not getting a food. All 24 hours they are starving. Once in a week, once in a while they are getting some. Even if they are ready to do job, but nobody is there to give them job. There are no job opportunities. And some are maybe like physically problems are there, or any other type of sicknesses are there. That's why they are unable to go for job. So if in a family, if one member is unable to go for job, then other family members also will be starving. They don't have income. So these inequalities are there. But when we are giving like more importance to the small industries, the people in the village area, they will be getting a job opportunity. So they will start getting income. So this income inequality will be getting reduced because of that. And another problem is there, like dispersed development of industries. So industries are like development of industries are there only in the city areas, only in the urban areas. The industries are increasing, and more industries. If in one area, if there are one industry is there, then nearby that there will be so many industries. So then that area will be developing so faster. But other areas where people like little facilities are not there, road facilities are not there, or such areas, people will not be starting an industry. So that type of imbalancing will be there. So these type of problems can be removed with the help of the small industries. So small industries can be started anywhere, even in the rural areas, if there is no much amount of transportation facilities, or especially like water transportation, sea transportation and all is not possible, then also we can start industries, and the small industries can be started in the village areas. In fact, promotion of small-scale industries and rural industrialization has been considered by the Government of India as a powerful instrument for realizing the twin objective of accelerated industrial growth and creating additional productive employment potential in rural and backward areas. So see, if we are giving more concentration on a small industrial development, then there are two benefits are there. One is that people will be getting more employment job opportunities. So the people, those who are in the village area and those who are in the backward area, they will be getting an opportunity to develop themselves. And also this will see, like if even if it is in a small number, but if number of productions are there, so this will helpful in the growth of the country. Is like production in the entire country will be increasing. Total amount of production it will be adding. So this will be like industrial growth will be there. Okay. However, the potential of small industries is often not realized fully because of several problems related to size. We shall now examine some of the major problems that small businesses, whether in urban or in rural areas, are encountering in their day-to-day functions. So even though there are some advantages of so everything there is, even though there are advantages, there will be some difficulties or some problems. So next we have to study is about the problems faced by the small businesses. Small scale industries are at a distinct disadvantage as compared to large scale industries. The scale of operation, availability of finance, ability to use modern technology, procurement of raw materials are some of these areas. This gives rise to several problems. So see, like first of all, see, like the small industries are not able to bring up a large amount of capital. Their resources and capital is very much limited. And since there is no much amount of capital, they will not be able to purchase a very high quality machinery or big like advanced technology and all. They cannot use. modern technology, if you want to make use of modern technology and high-tech machines, we need more money, so much amount of capital investment is required. But whereas in a small industries, they don't have that much amount of money to invest, so they cannot purchase big high quality or very modern technology machines and all, they are unable to purchase. And procurement of raw materials, so like purchasing raw materials, so what they do normally is that they purchase a very limited amount of raw material, they produce the product and sell it, then they get money, with that money they purchase another raw material. So it is not possible that what the big companies are doing is that they are purchasing raw materials in bulk quantity, very huge quantity they purchase and they store it. So they will get the raw material in very cheap rate. Okay, see, and also like if any type of products, especially if they are like, imagine that if a biscuit manufacturing company is there, then they want to have like wheat and all. So wheat, they will purchase these factories or these companies, they purchase wheat at the time of harvesting season. They purchase from an entire area, they will collect a huge amount of wheat and they will store it, and they all throughout the year they can make use of it. But these small industries, they don't have that much power to purchase all these raw materials together, and they may not have a storage facility, very large big godown and all is not there. So what they will do is that they purchase from the market, every day they will be purchasing like wheat and all. If big companies, when they purchase, they will get it in 10 rupees, 12 rupees price. So directly from the farmers they will purchase, and big farmers are there. So some 10 rupees to 12 rupees or even 15 rupees like that. Very small amount they will purchase bulk quantity, because at that time there is a huge demand and the price will be very much low. So at that time they will be able to purchase. But as small industries, when imagine that if you are purchasing wheat from the shop, it is costing some 22 rupees, 25 rupees like that. Per kg, how much is the cost of wheat? 15 rupees. Market? 15. Okay, so then butter, atta? 20. Yeah, 25 and all. Okay, well,
based on company.
Based on company, but normal like this 15 to 20. Okay, so when we purchase these products from the market, but anyhow it will be costlier. So because there are middlemen are there, they are storing the products, for that they are taking some charges, some profit they will take. If they are purchasing it from 10 rupees from the farmer, they will sell it for 15 rupees. So then that additional cost will be there. So when we purchase it from, but these small scale industries, they may not be able to purchase it from the farmers in a bulk quantity. So they have to purchase it from the market. So it may be costlier. So they will have to spend more money on that. Most of these problems can be attributed to the small size of their business, which prevents them from taking advantages which accrue to large business organization. However, the problem faced are not similar to all the categories of small business. For instance, in case of small auxiliary units, the major problems include delayed payments, uncertainty of getting orders from the parent units, and frequent changes in the production processes. The problem of traditional small-scale units include remote location with the less developed infrastructural facilities, lack of managerial talent, poor quality, traditional technology, and inadequate availability of finance. So see, like there are different, so it depends on, it doesn't mean that we cannot say that all the problems are, we cannot generalize the problem. Different problems are faced by different type of industries. Okay, so for some problems, some industries they may have one problem, but some other industries will have some other problems. So there are so many problems faced. Sometimes one of the problems that they are facing is that when they are producing the product, they are small scale industry, they produce the product, and when they sell it, they will not get the price or the money on the spot. So they have to sell it on credit, and they don't have much money, so they have to wait for the money to get it. Then only they will purchase another raw material and continue their production. So if the delay is there, more delay is there for getting the money back, then it will affect their production. So that is one problem. Then another one is that by the time they make it, say they don't get much order from big units. Like if big companies and all, if they take an order from big multinational companies are there or big companies are there, so they can take they will be supplying the product on the time given. So then it is not necessary to take order from the small units. So if we are like if a company wants to have like 10,000 products required, and one small scale industry is producing 1,000 units, then they have to collect it from 10 different companies. But when there is a large company which can produce all 10,000 together, so then they will give order to that company, and they will be able to supply the product on time and without any much amount of like transportation cost. If the different small scale industries are here and there, they have to go and collect it from here and there. So this will be a lot of problem. So then they will not be getting much order. So that is another problem. So these type of problems are there. The problem of exporting small scale units include a lack of adequate data on foreign markets, lack of market intelligence, exchange rate fluctuations, quality standards, and pre-shipment finance. In general, the small business are faced with the following problems. So there are so many of these problems are there. If they want to export the product to other countries, first of all, they don't have much knowledge about which country is in need of this. So they don't have much lack of knowledge is there. Data on foreign markets and a lack of market intelligence. They don't have much intelligence is not there, or they don't have much ability to. People from village area, they are not much knowing. Like the big companies, they use so much amount of techniques they are using. Like Jio company, and they started giving SIM free. So when they started giving SIM free, people started purchasing. Everybody started using it, and now it became. After that, what they did, they started charging on that. So now their price has increased. So then now it became like a normal. But what happens? Other companies failed. So now almost all the companies are in problem. Now only this Airtel and Vodafone is remaining, and Vodafone Idea they combined. They cannot stay alone, so they combined, but also they are not able to compete. And later on there will be a situation that this Airtel also or this Vodafone also may be closing. At last this Jio will become a monopoly. So then if they whatever may be the price they are demanding, we may have to give. So that's such kind of a situation will be there. Now also their problem is there. So people are now. But because of this, this farmers protest is there, so that is why they are encouraging people to boycott this Jio SIM and all. So that is why people. Otherwise, all people are purchasing Jio SIM. Even I was about to purchase. Means I was having a Vodafone SIM and I thought of porting it to Jio, but after that I did not do. Okay, now I am using Vodafone. So, because the problem is that once if you are changing it to Jio, and if we don't have a SIM, then if they make a new rule or they make a new price policy, then we will have to adjust with that. So if we are having another one, that will be beneficial. So that is why I continued. If any problem in the future comes, then we will have to see to it. So the major problems that the small industries are facing are as follows. The first one is finance. One of the severe problems faced by small-scale industries is that of non-availability of adequate finance to carry out its operations. Generally, a small business begins with a small capital base. Many of the units in the small sector lack the creditworthiness required to raise as capital from capital markets. As a result, they heavily depend on local financial resources and are frequently the victims of exploitation by money lenders. These units frequently suffer from a lack of adequate working capital, either due to delayed payments of dues to them or locking up of their capital in unsold stocks. Banks are also do not lend money without adequate collateral security or guarantees and margin money, which many of them are not in a position to provide. So finance is a big problem that is faced by small scale industries. So for a small scale industry, they don't have much amount of financial resources, they don't have much finance, so they have to, okay, so they don't have much finance, they cannot raise much amount of finance also. They start with a small amount of income or a small amount of money that the people are having, only in a small money will be there. With that they start business. But what happens is that they produce the product, they sell the product, but those who are purchasing the product, they will not give money on time. So then there will be problem. And once if they have produced the product and kept there, they may not be able to sell the product. So the money is spent on that. Okay. Okay, so then they will not be able. And sometimes, like if they receive a bulk order, so they don't have sufficient amount of fund for that, but because of that, they may not be able to take that order, or they will not be able to complete the order. And sometimes, if they are in a little bit problem in the money, what they do is that they cannot take money from any other sources, so they take money from some money lenders. And if they have taken money from the money lenders, they will start disturbing them. So their business will be affected. Money lenders will be coming and asking for the money, and they will be demanding so much interest and all, very high interest they will charge. So this will be affecting their profit. So such a way there it will be affecting. Okay, and these sufficient amount of working capital may not be there with them. So these type of problems they will face. The next one is about a raw material. Another major problem of a small business is the procurement of raw materials. If the required materials are not available, they have to compromise on the quality or have to pay a high price to get a good quality raw materials. Their bargaining power is relatively low due to the small quantity of purchase made by them. Also, they cannot afford to take the risk of buying in bulk, as they have no facilities to store the materials. Because of a general scarcity of metals, chemicals and extractive raw materials in the economy, the small scale sector suffers the most. This is also means a waste of production capacity for the economy and loss of further units. So the raw materials which they want to produce the products, they may not be able to procure very large amount of raw materials. If it is required at the time, but when they are in need, they may not be able to collect it. When they don't have a facility to store it, purchase it in bulk quantity and store it. So when they demand for the product, raw materials, the charge will be very much high. If they are purchasing, like if 1 lakh product is purchased together, then they will get it in very low price. But they cannot purchase it in that much big quantity, because first of all, they may not be required that much product. Secondly, they don't have the facility to store it. Okay, so then they have to purchase in a small quantity, and if when small quantity orders are there, then we may not receive. So the price will be higher. When you purchase small number of products, then the price will be higher. The next one is called managerial skills. Small business is generally promoted and operated by a single person who may not possess all the managerial skills required to run the business. Many of the small business enterprises possess sound technical knowledge, but are less successful in marketing the output. However, they may not find enough time to take care of all functional activities. At the same time, they are not in a position to afford professional managers. So like big companies are there, what they do is that they will appoint the big managers. So they very qualified managers, their experts are there, they will be appointed, and many people are for different departments, like a production department, purchase department, like that, different departments are there. And for controlling each and every activity, they will appoint departmental heads, departmental managers and all are there. So one departmental manager has to control only one activity, so he will become expert in that, and he will be able to do that activity. And he has already specialized knowledge in like production department manager is there, so he knows exactly all the production techniques he has studied and come up. But in a small scale industry, the manager will be only one person. He will be handling all the management activities. So he will be doing production also. So he must be the owner of the company, and he may not have expertise in all the field. If he is good in production, but he may not be very good in handling finance, or if he is good in finance, then he may not be able to handle marketing. So different activities are there to be done, and he may not be expert in handling all these problems. So and another problem is that they don't have a facility to hire a high quality expert as a manager. Okay, because they need to give, like if a very high quality manager has to be appointed, then 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, like that, big salary is to be provided. And the total income of the company only will be some 1 or 2 lakh rupees. Then if the salary is to be given, full salary, 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees salary has to be given to the manager, then they don't have any other income at all. So that much facility is not there, that much income is not there for them, so they cannot appoint. Then labor. Small business firms cannot afford to pay high salaries to the employees, which affects the employees' willingness to work hard and procure more. Thus, productivity per employee is relatively low, and employee turnover is generally high. Because of a lower remuneration offered, attracting talented people is a major problem in a small business organization. Unskilled workers join for a lower remuneration, but training them is a time-consuming process. Also, unlike a large organization, division of labor cannot be practiced, which results in lack of specialization and concentration. So the labor that is available for lower units are there. See, like quality, if high quality, very specialized employees are coming, they will demand for high salary. And these small scale industries, they may not be able to pay high salary. So what they do is that they will leave the company and go, and they will join in a very large scale industries. So people, and what happens is that only the unskilled laborers will come. So those who are not much qualified, or those who are not having much talent, they will come and join the small scale industries, and they will be collecting only very less amount of salary. But giving them training will be very much a complicated procedure. So they don't know anything. They have only they know to just do. We have to, each and every activity has to be given them training. So when unskilled labor is producing the product, then the quality of the product also will be very much low. But when a high quality employee is there, like if we imagine that if a carpenter is there, if a skilled carpenter is there, then he will be able to make the thing, and they will be looking at the product. It will be very nice, good looking, nicely product will be. But if a not talented person, means if they are cutting this one, it will go here and there, and the polishing and all, everything will not be nice. So then the product will not be like if we are making table and selling, or like sofa or some furniture if we are making and selling. If we have a experienced, very talented employees, they will be making it very nicely, and we can sell it at a very high price. But if we are using low quality employees, then they will not produce the product in nicely, and it will affect the price of the product also. Then marketing. Marketing is one of the most important activities, as it generates revenue. Efforts, effective marketing of goods require a thorough understanding of consumers' needs and requirements. In most cases, marketing is a weaker area of small organizations. These organizations have therefore to depend excessively on middlemen, who at times exploit them by paying low price and delayed payments. Further, direct marketing may not be feasible for small business firms, as they lack the necessary infrastructure. So another problem that they are facing is that the marketing, so it is like big companies, they have their own marketing units. They will be able to market, they can do advertisement, they will bring like film stars and all, they will bring and they do advertisement. Even for some small toffee or small products, there are like big film stars and all are coming, and they are taking the advertisement and all. So this will promote the product, and they will be able to sell the product in a very large amount. But if small units, they will not be able to call very high, like if you want to call like any film star or a cricket player and all, lakhs of rupees money we have to pay to them. But it is not possible, like a small business, they may not be able to call such a big people and all, or conducting interview, the advertisement and sending it in the TV, all these things may not be possible. So, or other type of marketing methods also, they may not be able to give very much a big discount, buy one get one free offers, all these type of offers and all may not be able to give. So such a way, their marketing strategy will be very much poor, and they may not be able to sell a large number of products. The next one, quality. Many small businesses, organizations do not adhere to desired standards of quality. Instead, they concentrate on cutting the cost and keeping the prices low. They do not have adequate resources to invest in quality research and maintain the standards of the industry, nor do they have the expertise to upgrade technology. In fact, maintaining quality is their weakest point when competing in the global markets. So quality is another big problem, as I told you. First of all, if you want to make a quality products, we need to use modern technology, highest technology, latest technologies are there, like cutting wood. If you want to cut, like earlier they were using with this one small with the handle they were using, but now machines are there. So if small high tech machines are there, so they are able to cut it, and just in a few seconds that work will be completed, and it will be level also very clearly. But if you are doing with the hand, it is not necessary that it will go on straight line. It will go here and there, so the finishing will not be that much. So such a way, The technology that they are using in high-tech large industries, they use very high technology, and they will be able to produce high quality output, and they can give training to the employees, and quality skilled laborers can be acquired, so their production, the quality of the product will be very much high. But small industries, first of all, they will not be able to hire very high quality skilled laborers, will not be there, higher machines will not be there. Because of that, whatever they are producing is not of a good quality. Machines may not, products will not be there. Then capacity utilization. Due to lack of marketing skills or a lack of demand, many small firms have to operate below full capacity, due to which their operating costs tend to increase. Gradually, this leads to the sickness and the closure of the business. So capacity utilization means that see, like if an industry has a capacity of producing 100 units, but because of their lack of, like they don't have raw materials may not be there, they don't have money or any lack of resources. So even though the capacity of this resource is 100, but they will be able to produce maybe 50 or 60 like that, below their capacity only. So how much is the maximum ability of their industry to produce, that much they may not be able to produce. So they may not be able to call that many number of qualified laborers may not be there, that much raw materials will not be there, or some other problems will be there. Because of that, they will be running below of their quality of the capacity. Then what happens if, like imagine that if we are producing 100 units of product, then per unit cost will be very much low. But when the production is low, or when a low number of products are produced, then per unit cost will be higher. So this will result in a reduction, loss of the business, and at last they will become, they have to close the business. Technology. Use of outdated technology is often stated as a serious lacuna in the case of small industries, resulting in low productivity and uneconomical production. So the technology that they are using also will be very outdated technology, old machines and old technology they will be using. So they will not be able to come up with a good technology, and it will not be helpful in increasing their business. Then sickness. Prevalence of sickness in small industries has become a point of worry to both the policymakers and the entrepreneurs. The cause of sickness are both internal and external. Internal problems include lack of skilled and trained labor, and managerial and marketing skills. So they have a lot amount of problems. So sickness means that they are having some type of problems affecting the business. So this will be resulting in the reduction in their profits, and at last they have to close the company. Then next is about the global competition. Apart from the problems stated above, small businesses are not without fears, especially in the present context of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Policies being followed by several countries across the world. So there are some type of problems that they are facing in the entire international market also. So these are the problems faced by the small scale industries.